Hey guys, welcome back to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So they're back with a updated complete guide for AP Kai'Sa. So if you guys remember, the old AP Kai'Sa build pretty much involved going for Manamune as your first item over here, and this is pretty much the old build. So this build was good. Manamune was a very cheap item. You could get it really quickly to get your Q evolve. However, it was a really weak item in the early game, which meant that you needed to wait for a lot of time for yourself to scale into when Mirror Mana evolves, and then it's going to really give you the power. So now, the more popular first item is actually now DUSKBLADE of Drakthar. Now, why? Because this is a really strong. It's pretty much the strongest AD damage item in the game. It gives you 55 AD, the most AD you can get on an item. It gives you 18 armor pen, which is the highest armor pen of any item. And it gives you, of course, the Night Stalker passive, which gives you bonus physical damage on your next auto attack with a 10-second cooldown, and also gives a very slight slow. So really strong early game power spike. Of course, another benefit of going for DUSKBLADE of Drakthar as a first item is if you don't want to go AP Kai'Sa, you can actually pivot into AD Kai'Sa with DUSKBLADE as a first item as well. I believe I've covered that build before already on the channel. And from the DUSKBLADE of Drakthar, you want to go into your second item, which is your boots. Of course, Kai'Sa normally goes for boots second, not first, because she wants to get her Q evolve as quickly as possible. So you get the Gluttonous Greaves to get yourself the 35 AD and the 7% Omnibam. Then we go into our first AP item, which is the Gnash's Tooth. Gives you 45% attack speed, 20 ability haste, as well as of course, the on-hit magic damage. But the thing is, because at this point you have 55 AD here, plus another 35 AD here, which is going to be a total of 90 AD, this is going to give you 30 AD instead of giving you AP. So this, of course, is, once again, it's going to give you AD or AP based on how much of the stat you have. So since you have 90 AD, this is going to actually give you AD at the beginning. So when you get to your next item, your Riftmaker, it's still going to give you AD, because at this point when you're going to build Riftmaker, of course Riftmaker gives you mainly the true damage as well as, of course, the Omnivamp. Of course the other stats are useful as well, but you only have 80 AP here, so it's actually still going to give you AD when you reach this point. So it's only after you get Riftmaker and then you go into your next item here, you get another Amp Tome, which is going to give you 25 AP. When you get another Amp Tome, this is going to convert into an AP item. So this is kind of perfect because obviously the AP build takes time to scale as well. So giving yourself AD at the beginning is going to give you a very strong early game, and then you go into more AP at the end is of course going to be very beneficial. So after they go for the Crown, obviously Crown is pretty self-explanatory. It's obviously for the safety. You are a squishy ADC and Crown is always going to be helpful for you. And finally, last item, you go for Death Cap. Of course, at this point, you're full build. You're going to be max level by this point. So you're going to get 45% bonus AP. And of course, just a ton of AP, 100 AP additional as well. Another thing is you can actually swap these two items around. If, for example, there are not a lot of threats on the enemy team, or you're super duper fed and you want to, get the Death Cap, just to get even more AP, could be a way to go as well. But this is kind of the standard, way I build. And for the runes next, you can choose between going for Lethal Tempo as well as going for Conquer. Now, honestly, Conquer is fine because you have Legend Alacrity for attack speed. You have 45% attack speed on your Gnash's Tooth together with your E attack speed. So you have more than enough attack speed. You don't need Lethal Tempo. So Conquer, does, of course, really well here. However, of course, Kai'Sa AP build does a lot of damage from proccing your passive. So with more attack speed, you can proc your passive more often and more quickly. So Lethal Tempo is also really good. Essentially what I'm saying is, you can go for either one depending on your preference or depending on the match. Normally, Lethal Tempo is a lot better to take when you have like a tanky frontline on both teams. So you can shred their frontline and your frontline can protect you, whereas Conquer is maybe a little bit better if your team doesn't really have a frontline and you can't really stack up Lethal Tempo very easily. So of course we go for Brutal, because you're an ADC who attacks a lot, Giant Slayer because it does the most damage in this slot, attack speed on the Legend Alacrity, and of course the Bone Plating for the anti-burst as well as the laning power. And for the spells you go for Flash and you go for Exhaust. Ghost is possible as well, but because Kai'Sa is really strong 1v1, I like to actually take Exhaust to be better in those 1v1s and get kills that way. So all that out of the way, let's jump into talking about our gameplay. Alright, so hopping into the gameplay, of course, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Any questions, queries, remarks, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I will be sure to address them. Okay, so now hopping into this solo queue game. Honestly, you can see that in this particular game, we have a decent amount of AD and AP. Like, we have two AD champions, Senna, as well as we have Irelia. Then we have two AP champions, Twisted Fate, as well as Fizz. Now, of course, Senna and Irelia are both pretty consistent forms of DPS on the AD side, but Twisted Fate doesn't really do that much AP damage unless he gets very, very fed, and Fizz, of course, is an assassin who can really only attack one person. So I was mainly thinking that, you know, this could be a good game to play AP Kai'Sa, but of course, we can always see the situation. And what do I mean? What I mean by that is, let's say if our Senna starts speeding, our Irelia starts speeding, then we might need to go AD because we're going to be lacking in AD damage. And let's say Fizz gets fed, then we really don't need AP anymore, we kind of want more AD. Which is why I think that DUSKBLADE first item is very, very beneficial, because it gives you a lot more flexibility, you know, to kind of decide which kind of build you want to go for, you know, without having to really commit to any of the builds. So anyways, we're now in lane. We're against a Pyke and a Jhin, a really, really aggressive early game lane, whereas Kai'Sa and Senna not too aggressive of a lane. But of course, even so, we still want to, of course, find opportunities to get in damage, you know, get some poke down, trade with the enemies, and such. So here, if possible, we mainly want to target Jhin, because when Pyke takes damage, he really doesn't take that much damage because he can restore it with the grey health. So targeting Jhin is going to be a lot better. But of course, another thing we want to do is stay away from minions. Now, me and Senna have just been bouncing these Jhin Qs to each other the whole time, but thankfully we have Senna sustain, so it's not like too bad. But we're taking quite a bit of poke, and you know, we're always going to be at risk if Pyke lands a hook, and it could be pretty problematic for us. So here, speaking of which, Pyke lands a hook onto Senna. I try to trade onto the Pyke. I'm doing as much damage as I can. I managed to proc my passive, which pretty much half helps the Pyke, but with the grey health, he can heal back up to like, you know, 60% or so, not too bad. Here I get hooked in by Pyke. Pyke tries to, Jhin gets in the stun. I actually flashed the Pyke stun, and I do end up trading 1-for-1 with the Pyke, who did end up just flashing in on me as well. Ironically, I think that the Nullifying Orb from Pyke actually saved his life, because without the Nullifying Orb, I think that auto would have killed him, and I think I would have actually survived. So, once again, Nullifying Orb, you know, is still a pretty strong rune. Is not weak in any sense. Like, especially in early levels, Nullifying Orb is makes a pretty big difference. So here you can kind of see a live example of that. Of course, you don't really go for Resolve as your primary tree on ADCs, but in general, you know, the Resolve tree is a pretty strong tree even on like carries. So with that 1-for-1 trade, it's not too bad, I guess. So all three of us, aside from Senna, are going for like a lethality kind of build. So we all now have Serrated Dirk, and yeah. So here Jhin actually flashes away because he respects the fact that if I manage to proc my passive there, I can actually just chase him down, because we all don't have summoner spells anymore. So if I pop my E and chase him down, after I pop the passive, I think I need maybe 2 to 3 more autos to kill him, and you know, there was a chance that I would have done that. So he decides to just flash away right at the beginning. Here Shyvana is spotted on the Twisted Fate ult, so we're gonna have to run away. Obviously Senna is going to be the main focus, and I'm kind of just the secondary target. Shyvana starts tanking the tower, but I'm able to get the fruit, and she flashes out. Now Fizz here is here to back me up. I'm just trying to clear the minions. He loses his mind, he hits the ult, and he decides to commit in 1v4. Which boggles my mind, because I don't know how he thinks that he's going to survive there. Maybe he was trying to trade 1-for-1 with the Jhin, but that was not a good decision, because you're guaranteed death and you're not guaranteed a kill. So he didn't get the kill, but Senna actually manages to snipe the Jhin with her ulti. So we end up trading 1-for-1 overall, but that was not a very intelligent decision by the Fizz. And yeah, so obviously, needless to say, we don't want to commit with him and just give the enemy team another free kill. No reason to do that. We managed to farm up the waves, get ourselves the DUSKBLADE, and we get our Q evolve off of the DUSKBLADE as well. So now we have DUSKBLADE versus Jhin's Collector. DUSKBLADE is definitely the superior item to Collector. Collector, of course, gives you less AD than DUSKBLADE, less lethality than DUSKBLADE. It's pretty much the inferior version to DUSKBLADE in every aspect, except the fact that it gives crit, which is of course going to help Jhin's crit scaling. And yeah, so now both enemies are missing. The wave is to our side, so we don't really want to push it out. We're just keeping it at our side and only going to last hit, like so. And objectives are spawning really soon, so you know, we might need to of course push the next wave to get to objectives in time. Jhin appears to be alone. Pyke is missing. Senna actually hits the root, but Jin's like under tower, so I can't really do very much anyways. And here being careful to stand away from the minions so the bounce does not bounce to us. Senna has been doing a pretty good job of keeping a ward in the enemy team's bush, which is where Pyke likes to hide out, so we mostly can see the Pyke when he's in the bush. And my team is actually going for Herald. I think Shyvana's going for Dragon. Yep, she actually is. So here we should not really be committing so hard, but the thing is that, you know, Jhin ends up pretty much just getting one-shot by us. Now here, I actually tried to ult the Pyke stun, like ult away to the other side to avoid the Pyke stun, but I couldn't get it off in time, and I end up getting stunned by Pyke and just burst it down basically. I tried to flash away, but honestly, there was no getting out of that, so maybe I should just save my flash instead. But yeah. So we trade Herald for Dragon, which is always a good trade in my opinion. Here, Fizz is actually going to pop the Herald. So looking at the situation now, Irelia is pretty fed. She is 2-0 and she's about to get a Rift Herald, and she's going to get first tower together with Fizz as well. So Fizz, in terms of gold, is actually doing fine because of, partially also because of this first tower. And basically my whole team is kind of doing fine for now. So I still don't know really what kind of build I want to go for, but I'm definitely going to go for Gluttonous Greaves next, so we can kind of check in on the situation again and see how it goes. Senna gets really lucky, gets 4 souls off of one wave, so that's like 100% soul drop rate, really lucky. And here we're just landing free poke on Malphite. He's under the tower, he can't really do anything, so we're just landing, you know, free spells onto him and just poking him out, which is of course going to be significant if he decides to ult in on us if any of his teammates show up. So, you know, never neglect to poke the enemy under tower. You know, just poke them, step out of tower, and continue damaging the tower. Here we just interrupt his back as well, making sure to wait just a little bit longer so that we waste even more of his time. And now here, he does end up ulting in. We take a little bit of tower aggro, but he is basically gone, which is basically the main point of why we wanted to poke him down just now. We do end up dying, but we end up doing quite a bit of damage to Shyvana, and Senna is able to finish the job. So overall, Senna dies to Pyke, but overall the trade is still pretty alright. Twisted Fate now has died as well, so there is that. So in the end, I believe I decide to go for an AP build here because I see Irelia is very fed. You know, she can definitely carry the AD of the team. Senna's going more utility, so she's not really going to carry the AD of the team, but Twisted Fate, as I mentioned, doesn't really do a lot of damage, especially because he's gone for Stasis first item, and he looks like he's building towards his Rod of Ages. Now here I get hooked by Pyke, stunned by Jhin, stunned by Pyke, and pretty much just get chain CC'd under the tower and just die, which is pretty embarrassing, but yeah, you know, what's happened has happened, and I'll just try to defend the tower, but you know, clearly I should not be defending the tower against 3 people. So, as I was saying, so Twisted Fate is basically not going to be doing any damage because his build is horrible. He has a Rod of Ages not even bought yet at 8 minutes into the game, which basically means it's going to take forever to stack up. Fizz is 0, 1, and 3. He's not doing too bad, but overall I felt that we had enough AD DPS that probably going for AP would be better. And don't forget that even when you go AP, you're still actually going AD at the beginning, so you are going to be doing AD damage at the beginning, and even when you change to doing AP damage, you're still going to be doing a lot of AD damage, but you're just going to be doing some AP damage. So it's not completely 100% AP damage, of course. And you know, so we're going to go for that AP build. So here we've cleared out that huge wave at top, and now we're going to rotate over to mid, where clearly there's a fight happening. Malphite looks like he's about to die, and he does. Pyke goes in onto my entire team here, and we're trying to chase him down. Shyvana actually goes in. Trying to finish off that Pyke. We do, not us, but Irelia manages to finish off the kill, and Shyvana is getting kited out by the Fizz. Tries to chase him down, but ends up getting killed by me and Irelia, so we both get the kills. And here I'm just clearing out the mid wave and seeing if we can push down the the ever important mid lane tower. Jhin is the only person defending, and pretty much makes the same mistake as me, where he pretty much tries to solo defend the tower. And dies to me and Irelia because of it, because obviously, you know, Irelia can just dive him, and I'm just letting Irelia tank the tower and just pretty much, you know, just smacking him around. So here we're gonna back. I believe we have enough to complete our Gnasher's Tooth. And I'm gonna get my E-Evolve, because as I said, as of now, we are still going for an AD build, so no point evolving the W as of now. And even in AP builds, I think evolving E first is normally better, because that 1 second of invisibility you get is actually pretty huge. Now, as we have done all that shenanigans in mid, another big wave accrues in the top lane, so we're gonna go and clear this wave as well. Dragon has, of course, spawned, and our team is trying to contest it against the Shyvana, who already gets it instantly. So here this doesn't look like a very good fight, but I'm trying to see what I can do anyways. My team is kind of slowly dying one by one. Senna's now getting chased down, and not really much I can do at this point, so I'm just going to walk away. Or I'm going to try to walk away. I'm going to ult away from the Pyke this time to the Shyvana. Shyvana does quite a little bit of damage here, but I'm going to be just fine being near the tower and all. And now I'm just going to reset and basically just get back my health. Or I was going to until I see the wave coming in. I'm just going to pick up this wave. And then I'm just going to rotate. With the control ward there, I can see Shyvana, you know, of course, counter jungling us. We saw Pyke as well. 4 people in the mid lane. We don't want to make the same mistake, so we're going to wait till we go to the tower and just one-shot the wave. Our team is now respawning, so we can now just walk back to base and you know, get our alternator while our team goes back on the map and, you know, sees what they can get done. So here Shyvana is getting into a fight with Irelia. I'm coming over to back her up. Shyvana though is running into her team, so Irelia wisely retreats. Pyke now kind of overcommits and goes in. I pretty much hit nothing on him there because he died way too quickly, but yeah, he does end up going down. I'm still behind my team to make sure nothing is going to happen, in a bad sense of course. And yeah, so I walk into a wall here, but I'm gonna basically just rotate over. Irelia looks like she wants to make a play onto Malphite. I'm just trying to get vision. I get vision to ult over, kill the Malphite, and Shyvana is running away. Irelia takes the blue buff, so we do manage to deny enemy blue buff and get a free kill onto the Malphite. Irelia is now going onto the Jhin, who flashes away, but Irelia is in way too deep, and she's now stuck under the tower, and she does end up going down. Jhin pops the ult, I guess, to slow us, but, you know, obviously we're both at full health, so he's not going to do a lot of damage. Senna's getting run down here, but she does have Glacial and also her Iceborne Gauntlet, so she is, of course, kiting out very well, and she does get Fiora very low. I'm going to flash the wall, try to finish her off, but unfortunately, we don't quite get her, and I end up guessing the wrong direction. You can see based on that ward there that appeared for a split second, she queued over that thin wall there, so I end up going the wrong direction. Twisted Fate is as good as dead here, because he has like at least 3 people going for him. Yeah, he has like 3 people going for him, he's dead, and Twisted Fate's kind of feeding now, he's 1 and 3. And of course, as I mentioned just now, he got his run of ages really late, so this means that, you know, going for AP build on my end is going to definitely be the way to go. And Irelia is like more fed than me, so on the AD front, she has that covered. So here I'm like under 800 gold away from of course my Riftmaker, which is of course going to be my next big power spike. So I'm trying to look around and find farm. A fight breaks out and in the river. Looks like Irelia is kind of fighting 1v3, ends up dying again. Now, the issue is that Irelia is a little bit over-eager when it comes to these fights, because she is really fed, but the common mistake fed people make is they're over-committing into fights when they really should not be. Enemy team gets Baron off of her death, which is of course really bad, and I'm just trying to free fire here and trying to get kills. We end up killing the Fiora, or Senna gets the Fiora killed, but you know, the Shyvana has so much attack speed from her Triforce and her Wits End, and she's just running me down with that insane attack speed and just pretty much just killing me. So now the situation is dire. The enemy team's not only got Baron, but we nearly got aced. Only Fizz is really alive. He's doing some counter jungling on the opposite side of the map. And I realized respawning to try to defend. Now, as long as we don't lose inhibitors, it's pretty much going to be fine. Like, we can afford to lose the tier 2 towers, especially because we have 3 members down. But you can see what Irela's doing again. She's fed another kill. So really, she got fed in the early game, but she's now just going in 1v3, like 1v4 permanently, and I have no idea what she's doing. Yeah, it doesn't really make sense, and it's making the game really, really difficult. Like, we need Irelia to play around the team, but she's really not. She's just going in, you know, by herself constantly, which is really, really annoying. Anyways, we do get our Riftmaker, which gives us our W and final evolve. And of course, one more M Tome we're going to convert into, of course, we're going to convert the National Suit into an AP item. And we're, of course, going to just start doing more AP damage in general. So, enemy team has had 2 dragons. The last dragon is spawning, so it looks like could be a soul for the enemy team, unless we have anything to say about it. I don't really want to be the one to face check into the dragon pit, so I'm kind of being a little bit cautious. Irelia goes ahead of me and kind of goes into the dragon pit. I'm just gonna dodge out these Jhin bullets while Irelia is doing her stuff, but unfortunately enemy team gets the dragon. Of course Shyvana does dragon really, really quickly, and the enemy team do get triple dragon, which gives them Ice Dragon Soul. So here the whole enemy team is here with the exception of Fiora pushing mid, and they're trying to push down this tier 2 tower. Now with my entire team here, this is possible to defend. Irelia gets off a really good stun, and I'm following up with it with my auto attacks and stuff. We kill the Malphite as well. I'm gonna look for an ult. Stun comes in, I try to ult in, and we're going for all of the kills. We get one of them, Irelia gets the rest, I believe, and Fiora is the only person left, and she gets a mid lane inhib, which honestly is not that bad, because mid lane inhib is not that valuable compared to the other two. And we got 4 of them down, which is pretty, pretty good. Now with 4 of them down and Fiora recalling, we can try to push down some tower. So we got objective bounties on the tower. We're pinging Senna to go for the tower. Of course, Fiora is going to be here to defend, which, it's not really going to be too big of a problem, because Fiora I don't really think can 1v2 us. She is relatively fed, but I'm like 2k go up on her, so she's going to have to back off while we get the tower. And we do, Twisted Fate goes in, and Fiora's team respawns, so we're going to have to just back off. We don't want to overcommit and end up dying to the respawning team, so we're going to just back away. And now, now off of those objective bounties, we actually overtake the enemy team in gold just by like 1k, which is pretty nice. However, Twisted Fate for some reason gets caught in the enemy team's jungle. I'm not sure what he's doing, but yeah, that's a problem. So huge wave in bot lane. Irelia is gonna get that, so I'm just gonna recall. Baron is 10 seconds from spawning, so it's very obvious the enemy team is gonna go for Baron, while Fiora split pushes the opposite side of the map. We get our crown. Obviously, a lot of threats here. Shyvana ulting in, Malphite ulting in, Pike hook, etc. And we're gonna rush over to Baron. So I'm not really sure if we can do anything about the situation with only 3 of us. But I pretty much just decide it's not worth it, so I'm just going to go ahead and just clear minions. Enemy team gets another Baron, which is pretty annoying. Irelia decides to go in by herself again, does actually kill the Malphite this time, so it's not a complete disaster, and she still have health. So here, in the meantime, I'm gonna quickly get this red buff before my jungler respawns, because the enemy team might want to come in and counter jungle it. It's better than only I get it than if no one gets it at all. So I'm going to quickly grab that red buff and going to clear the waves. We can see Fiora trying to counter jungle herself. I think she might be doing blue buff. Twisted Fate out reveals all of them, and you can see that multiple of them are in our jungle. Elder Dragon is now 40 seconds from spawning. And that's pretty much going to be the main fight that determines the game. Like, any team gets ace there, they basically end up losing the game. And of course, I'm paying for it. In the meantime, I actually back and buy a stasis, because at this point, obviously, I'm not going to be able to finish my death cap. So the best power spark I can get for the Elder Dragon is going to be a stasis. So I'm going to grab my stasis and head out over to the Elder Dragon. Really important to reach there early, which is what we're doing here. And really important also to push out mid lane, because Fiora can split push, or I don't know if it's called split push if it's in mid lane, but she can push down mid lane and end the game if we get distracted by her team. So really important not to leave mid lane unpushed. You can see Fiora is already pushing back. So here we spot Fiora alone, or she spots us alone, I'm not sure which way, but we nearly killed the Fiora. She stasis and she has full stacks. I hit the W on her, but she lives on 1 HP. Fizz and myself kills the Malphite, and here Shyvana is now left alone. She's dead, and now only Jhin and Pike are left. Pike actually hooks me to go closer to them, which is really helpful. I dodged the Pike stun, and we're able to finish off the Pike. And yeah, so basically the whole team is dead except Fiora. Fiora cannot defend the base by herself, so we should be able to just end the game. In fact, she's not even trying to defend the base. She's actually trying to split push and base race us or something. But obviously, we're not gonna be able. She's not gonna be able to finish the base faster than us, so she is committed, and we're just going to finish off the game. Pretty exciting game here. But as usual, I'm gonna leave you guys with the stats. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.